Welcome, ATL sports fans. I gotta do it because George's my friend. Welcome, New Orleans sports people. Well, I said people. That's all you're gonna get, Jordan. Welcome, Philly fans. Welcome everyone out there. Welcome, ATL movie fans. Welcome all movie fans. It's me and my friend and co-host Jordan Burton, and we're here today to talk about Batman Begins. That's right, the best superhero trilogy. I said it, I meant it, I'm here to represent it. The best superhero trilogy that yours truly has ever seen. My friend, my counterpart, Mr. Jordan Burton, welcome, sir. Hey man, we're here to talk about Batman Begins, man. Let's get to it, sir. First and foremost, give me your thoughts on this being the best trilogy. Well, this side of Captain America. Just give me your thoughts.
Um, I would say it's the best comic book trilogy ever.
Yes,
Comic book movie trilogy. Uh,
yes,
I mean, if we're gonna think about like other ones, we could talk about like Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain America. Um, I mean, a lot of movies ended up making like four, like the Avengers did four. They're gonna be on five and six, so that's not a trilogy. Uh, yeah, I mean this whole trilogy, I love every single one of these movies. Every single one of these movies, I have not only a positive score, but for me, like an 8+ is a great movie that I will recommend to someone. And I think all three of these movies are in that category. I love every single one of them. I remember seeing I did not go see this movie when it first came out in theaters because I was so young and I was
yeah,
scared of Scarecrow.
yeah.
And
That
not
that's
only that, when I first saw this movie, it was when it came out on DVD. Um, and I saw it for the first time, seeing Batman's face all like weirded out because the Scarecrow toxin. That freaked me out a little bit.
Oh yeah.
But I love this movie so much. It's such a great origin story. I will say this after watching it, I rewatched it again today. I believe that this is the most in-depth origin story comic book movie of all time. I don't think there's any other comic book movie that just goes as in depth into the origin story of their character than this movie. I think the closest anyone does is Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. I think that's the only other closest. Those are the two, in my opinion, best origin stories of any movie ever, of any comic book movie ever. So, yeah, I love this movie. I can't wait to talk about this.
I can't do anything but agree with you. Um, I think number one, again, I can literally watch this trilogy 4 or 5 times a year because not only is it a great superhero movie, and you're gonna hear me say it, and you're gonna get sick of me saying it because I get sick of saying it, but it needs to be said. Batman: The Dark Knight should have won an Oscar. It was that good of a film, and it's not even close. Whoever won 2008 Oscar, you can get the finger. It's not even close, and the only reason it did is because it was a superhero movie, and it just upsets me because it was such care that went into the story, and to your point about this being a granular description, you are 100% correct, sir. Um, let's get into it. Even in the way the film is introduced, we see young Bruce playing with Rachel Dawes, childhood friend. I believe her mom was the housekeeper or one of the housekeepers, and they're playing, and Bruce is hiding from her, and he falls down a well. And in this scene, we see his how his fear with of bats began. Which, if you're what 7, 8 years old and you fall 30 feet down a well and break your leg or break your arm or whatever, and you can't move, and you see 500 bats going your way, I probably would have a fear of it too. It probably would bother me for the rest of my life too. Like, I'd be honest with you, I probably would shit my pants. I'm just being honest. You know what I mean? Think about it. You're there, you can't move. You look in this dark passage, and you see 500 bats coming your way, and you can't move. You know what I mean? That's gonna keep me up nights, man. I'm not saying it's Final Destination scary, but it's gonna keep me up nights. Just saying. So, tell me your thoughts about this first scene. Tell me your thoughts about how they translated his fear and how this all began.
I think one thing about origin stories. Now, all right, I feel like I'm going to talk about origin stories because I feel so great about this movie and I love what it does so much. I believe every character should get an origin story. Like and people are going to say, people like James Gunn, this is where I will disagree with James Gunn, and I love James Gunn. I can't wait to see Superman, and I can't wait to see what he does with DC, and I love what he's done with the Guardians of the Galaxy. But I have to disagree with, like, making a movie about characters and people are like, oh, you know the origin story already, and I'm like, there are different iterations of characters. Like, for example, big example in the movies, everyone who's seen the original Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, and then goes and see the Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield, they may have the same, like, quick and easy process of how they get their powers and stuff like that, but they go about everything so differently. Tobey, he shoots his webs out from his skin, versus Andrew Garfield has to make his web shooters. Like, the whole process, and then Andrew Garfield has his parents more involved in the backstory for him. Like, there's so many differences in, like, the way characters are developed that I believe every character should get their own origin story. That's why, like, Robert Pattinson's Batman, as much as it's a great film, I like it as a film, I do wish we got more of the backstory as to how this Batman became the Batman, because I think there's especially a lot of mystery and intrigue. I like that, but I do want to see that out of Robert Pattinson's Batman. And with this movie, it proves my point. Like, this is a very different Batman than all the Batmans that came before it, whether that was... Now, some people believe that Val Kilmer, George Clooney, and Michael Keaton's Batmans are all different Batmans, but they all have the same Alfred. They have two of the movies have the same Robin, and I think they're for the same movies, and that it's just recasted actors as Batman. But it dives right into the start of how he becomes Batman. And, they hinted at this in Batman Forever, that, like, his, like, fear of bats, right? And it's one thing that Joel Schumacher, the director of the movie, said that he dove deeper into that, and it's actually being brought up on Twitter. People are saying release the Schumacher cut, because his version of the movie was very different than what was released. So, and I'm curious. I would like to see it, because I'm very curious. I loved Batman Forever growing up. As I get older, I don't appreciate it as much as I used to, but I still like the movie. It held a special place in my heart because it had Jim Carrey, it had Tommy Lee Jones. I didn't care for Val Kilmer as much as, like, other people, but rest in peace to him.
Rest in peace, Val. Yeah.
But I love the cast. I loved the direction. I loved the villains. And I think there was a lot missing, and I would have liked to see Schumacher's version. But that fear of bats was in that movie, and they hinted at it so much. And I'd be curious to see how that would have been made nowadays, because they would have dove deeper into that, like what Batman Begins does at the beginning of this movie. Great job setting up, like, something people can't relate. Not a lot of people are going to relate to their fear of bats, because, like, I mean, I don't unless you go into a cave most days. Like, I mean, you're not going to really see bats all that much.
Yeah.
But everybody seeing like trauma at a young age, that's what people can relate to that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love how they set up this movie and trying to relate to a small child and the fear of bats.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think for me, it can be bats, it can be anything. For me, this movie is about facing your fear.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's about facing your fear, and not only facing your fear, but turning it on somebody else. Oh, okay. To everybody that's going to be this and go out and commit these crimes, you will rue the day you will fear the bat. And let's talk about it. So we what's sad is that we see young Bruce. We see him falls down the well, gets up. The next time we see him, he's in some prison camp. And there's this big dude standing over him, and he's like, "You are in hell, and I am the devil." And Bruce proceeds to whoop his ass and 6 other people like him ass. Or, Bruce says 7. Ducard says 6, but whatever. We'll split the difference and say 6.5. But anyway, Bruce is moved into a camp by himself. And the guy remarks, "We're doing it for protection." He's like, "It's 6 of them." He was like, "No, for their protection." So clearly, the first impression we get is that Bruce has been whooping ass his entire time there. They're not just going to throw him in what do they call it? Solitaire. They're not going to throw him in solitaire for just one fight. Clearly, he's been whooping ass the entire time there. And he's in there, and all of a sudden, he's visited by Ducard, who will, spoiler alert, later become Ra's al Ghul, because Ra's is not one person. Ra's is an entity. Ra's is something to be feared. And the beginning of their relationship starts, and it's a mentorship. And Ra's is taking all of Bruce's rage and anger towards criminal in an attempt to shape it for the League of Shadows. Jordan, talk about their first interaction and just your thoughts and what jumps off the screen at you about this.
First off, while I was watching this, I was my stepdad was in the background. He loves Star Wars movies, but he's not a big comic book fan. But everybody can agree Liam Neeson is awesome. I personally don't like his Taken movies, and I don't like his Taken style movies.
What?
I just I don't it bores me, right? I just don't care for it. I love him in Star Wars as Qui-Gon Jinn, and I love him in this. I think when I see him in more variety, I like Liam Neeson more, and I think this was just great casting. I think it could have been more comic accurate. Yeah, like nowadays, Liam Neeson's not getting casted as Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
And but I liked his performance. I think him and Christian Bale did really well, sort of as like opposites. Like they were training, but you could tell as things went on, they were just completely on opposite sides of this war.
Mm-hmm.
I love this mentor. I love the whole beginning of this movie where he is training Bruce Wayne to be Batman, to not be Batman, but to be a part of the League of Shadows. It's so incredible, and it builds character for watching Bruce Wayne fall and get picked back up, which we see throughout. This is another message on top of fear. Another thing is like when you fall, you got to learn to pick yourself back up.
As a matter of fact, Thomas Wayne, not to cut you off, Thomas Wayne says that to him when he initially falls. He says, "Bruce, why do we fall? So that we can get back up." So I didn't mean to cut you off, but go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yes, and that's, I mean, we see him fall multiple times throughout this training montage, and we see him pick himself back up, and I love it because we're seeing Batman not be like, Batman's not supposed to be perfect, right? Every time we see I think every time we've seen Batman, if we see Adam West Batman, it seems like it's almost like a perfect iteration. He's always going to win and stuff like that. We see the animated movies and shows. Most of the time he wins outside of Mask of the Phantasm, which I love. I could talk about Mask of the Phantasm for probably 18 hours. Then with Michael Keaton's Batman, we see him fall a little bit, hinting at like the Joker killing his parents. Val Kilmer, we see his like fear of bats, but again hinted. Batman and Robin, we don't really see him like fall or anything. And Robert Pattinson's Batman, I mean, we see Alfred get injured and that's really it. And he's like sulking and stuff like that. But we really see him lose in this trilogy. And that's what makes this Batman so human. And that's why, quick second on Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan is the best director right now in Hollywood. He could go make whatever movie he wants. And I can't wait for the Odyssey when that comes out. He could make a movie on anything he wants because he's proven that he can do comic book movies. He can do
period pieces.
He can do like intergalactic pieces. He can do time travel. He can do whatever he wants, and he will always succeed. And he wanted a human Batman. And he wanted a realistic adaptation. Now, a man being dressed as a bat is not inherently realistic, but this is the most realistic adaptation of a superhero that we have gotten ever.
Yeah.
And I applaud Christopher Nolan for that because Christopher Nolan's just amazing. But and we see that in this whole montage that he is human, he's growing, and he's changing. Before he becomes Batman, this is what we are seeing him, why he's such a skilled fighter, and I love it. I love this scene.
What do you think makes Christopher Nolan so good? What is it that translates, like you said, from comic book movies to period pieces to outer space to time travel? What's the common theme woven through that motif, woven through the tapestry of all of his movies?
Well, I think I'll start off with like his earliest great project, a middle great project, and then his most recent great project. So his first great project for me was Memento. If you have not seen that, I highly recommend it.
That's the one with the guy with no short-term memory, right? He has to write everything down.
Yes, the whole movie.
Yes,
in reverse.
Correct.
Anyone who has not seen that, go watch Memento right now.
I did not know that was Christopher Nolan. I didn't know he directed that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes. Fantastic. Just I remember watching that, and I'm like, the entire time I'm like, what the heck is going on? And by the end of the movie, you're like, what just happened? I was watching Sean Chandler, another YouTuber. He kept, every time he would always recommend Memento to people, and what he said, he's like, the movie plays in reverse. And that concept, I was like, what? And I watched it, and you're like, this is insane. But the way he does it, he takes a realistic issue and just puts it he just chops it up and puts it out of order, right? But in a way that you will be able to understand it.
It's digestible.
Yes. And going into The Dark Knight, which is our one of his best, The Dark Knight or Interstellar. You can do either one as like the middle area of his career. Because I think The Dark Knight put him on a platform, and I think Interstellar put him on the top platform, right? And I love Interstellar. That movie makes me think all the time, and I love that. I love movies that make me think. But both movies, he takes his time, whether that's The Dark Knight or Interstellar, he takes his time to be able to think about the characters, and not just the main characters, but the side characters, and making you relate to them. And then you look at Oppenheimer, his most recent success. Also, you relating to the characters, you're relating to the side characters, you're looking at every little piece, like Memento, has parts that are out of order, where you're jumping into the future, then jumping back to the past, jumping into the future, jumping into the past. He uses black and white as seeing from an outside perspective, a third person perspective, and then seeing from Oppenheimer's perspective, you see in color. So I think two things. It's one, being able to relate to not just a character, the main character, but all characters, right? And two, it's trying to find realism in fantasy, right? Because a man dressed as a clown fighting up against a man dressed up as a bat, that's not necessarily realistic. Interstellar, while scientifically it's possible, which is why he consulted scientists when making that movie, it's inherently fantasy. But he tried, but he went very realistic. And then with Oppenheimer, how he designed some of the explosions of the bomb, he consulted other scientists and then decided to make practical effects for the bomb, little explosions here and there. He's able to find realism in fantasy, and I think only one other director could ever do that, and that's, in my opinion, the greatest director ever in Hollywood. That's Steven Spielberg. And they're able to make us relate to multiple characters within a movie and take us out of this world and let us relate to them and not be like overthrown with like, oh wait, what's going on? And I think that's where Christopher Nolan's one movie, Tenet, I think it was okay. It wasn't his best movie, but I don't think it was a great movie. I think that's where he lost people, is that he went a little bit too overboard and didn't allow him. It wasn't very digestible, like you were saying. The other movies being digestible, I don't think it was very digestible, and I think that's where he had the issue. But when you give him time to work on something, you let him do whatever you want, he's gonna make $1 billion or close to it. I can't wait. I believe. Here's my bold prediction. We can clip this a couple years from now. The Odyssey is gonna probably make 1 point. If it's rated R, it's not making $2 billion. If it's PG-13, it's gonna make $2 billion.
All right, you heard it here first. That's your hot take. That's your bold prediction.
If it's rated R, it'll make $1 billion, and not many rated R films have made $1 billion. But and that's why I don't think it'll make $2 billion if it's rated R. But if it's PG-13, I think it'll end up being rated R, like Oppenheimer. But if so, I guarantee that movie's making $1 billion.
Hey man, I agree 100%. I think, and the thing about Tenet, I had to watch it 2 or 3 times, to your point, because I watched the first time like, what the hell did I miss? Let me go. So it was kind of like the figuring out, and I still don't think I ever figured out some of it, but again, I was a little lost on it, but I agree. Nolan definitely makes characters and situations digestible and relatable. I think is his strength. I think he can take any scenario, because let me tell you something. It is a difficult thing to make a situation in 1865 relatable to someone in 2025. Totally different human experience, right? Totally different exchange. Human beings are different. We express ourselves different. The technology is different. So if you can do that, that is a specialized skill. And I agree with you there. Nolan excels at that. So we're at the point in the film, and Chris just joined us. Chris A1. What to do, Chris? How you doing, man? We got Tiff. Miss Tiff Rains. Hey Tiff, how you doing? We got Mike in the chat, Carrie in the chat, Chris A1. Hello to everyone. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. So look it. We see that Nolan takes him under his wing. They kind of do the little dance, the training montage. What's interesting is that I get the sense that Ducard, who is not yet Ra's al Ghul, but Ducard has been where Bruce is and finally just made the decision, at a certain point, you just can't trust man. At a certain point, decisions have to be made. And sometimes you got to do bad things for the right reason. And Batman will never go there. But that, to me, is the difference between Ra's al Ghul. Batman is about vengeance, but there's a line. There's a code that he will not cross. And that's what I love about him, right? Because Batman is the most paradoxical character, one of them that I've ever seen. He is just as crazy as the people that he goes after, but there is a line. There is a firm line. There is a code that he will not cross. He will not break it. He will not break it for anyone. And that is the interest. That is the appeal to me between he and the Joker. Because the Joker is all about crossing lines. He's all about chaos. And that is the dance that they do. And I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself. But anyway, you know what? Finally, it comes the moment, that Bruce is finished with his training. Okay, let's go. I'm in the League of Shadows, but wait a minute, Jordan. There's a test. There's this farmer that murdered somebody to get what he wanted, and he is due some justice from the League of Shadows, right? And they say to Bruce, look, you got to kill this guy, okay? He did wrong. And really what they're trying to see in this case, the test is obedience. Will you do what we say we want you to do without question? Will you follow orders without question? And this, to me, is where we see the parallel between Batman and Captain America. There's certain orders he's just not going to follow, right? There's certain orders he's just not going to follow. Now, if you pushed me to it, Captain America is a far better person than Bruce Wayne. But their principles align in this area. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So Bruce creates the distraction, tosses a cherry bomb or whatever into the fireworks. Everything goes haywire. The original Ra's al Ghul gets killed by accident. Bruce attempts to save Ducard. Ducard slips, falls down the snow. Bruce catches him with the attachment on his arm. Now, not that a comic book story is realistic, but there's no way you're going to be hanging off a cliff and with one arm pick up a 200-pound man. You're just not going to have, unless you're the Hulk, you're not going to have that kind of strength, okay? So they were a little fast and loose with that, but that's okay. But Jordan, let's talk about this scene. Give me your thoughts on this and what's going through your mind as you watch this play out.
And it makes me think, like, I love that Batman has like a no kill rule, right? And some people, the people who don't like it will bring up like Daredevil, that he's like, oh, he's just like Daredevil then. But they both have different reasons. Like Daredevil's Catholic, that's why he doesn't kill. That's why he has the no kill rule, or he'll go to hell. Right. Versus Batman, that's his duty, that he will not kill no matter what. I love that. I've always loved that with Batman. And that's something I didn't like with Ben Affleck's Batman. And a lot of people loved it. A lot of people I like Ben Affleck. I feel like it doesn't add, I feel like it adds depth when he has the no kill rule. It automatically adds depth within that Batman. And with with Ben Affleck's Batman, he was just straight up killing people, and people were excited. But when it comes to their like, that's why we didn't get a origin story for Ben Affleck's Batman, which another movie that we probably needed an origin story before we got to Batman versus Superman. But we'll get to that in a couple weeks. But I love that. I think I love that there was no hesitation on Bruce Wayne's face when he said he's not going to kill this guy. He doesn't want to be like the criminals. He wants to stop people like that. I love that. And I it's funny because every time I watch this movie, the one scene that happens later in the movie, right before the mansion burns down, Liam Neeson's character, at that point he's Ra's al Ghul.
Yes.
He says, "You left me for dead," and you burned down my house and left me for dead in that scene. But going back, he saved his life.
He did.
Like if Bruce wasn't there, he's dead. Like if Bruce saved his life, and if Bruce doesn't do that, then who knows what entity Ra's al Ghul ends up becoming. And the plan probably ends up taking more years than it should have been. So I always think about that when I'm watching this movie. Because I'm like, dude, he saved your life. You should probably thank him.
He kind of does. He doesn't, but he does. Because the first thing he says to him, he says, "You did." He acknowledges. He says, "You did save your life, and because of that, I'm going to allow you to let your guest leave." Remember that?
Yeah, right.
He says that to him. Because other than that, he'd have come in killing everybody. And he says, "Because of what you did, I'm going to allow you to let your guest to leave. But make no mistake about it, I'm going to burn down your house." Make no mistake about it. Because the League of Shadows is all about an eye for an eye, right? Mm-hmm. They're all about that. So it's interesting you bring that up, because it's funny the way he does it. Like everything is going on well and the party's going well. And all of a sudden, this lady just appears and is like, "Bruce, this person wants to meet you, Mr. Ra's al Ghul." And Bruce has this look on his face like, "Oh shit! Like, wait, who is this?" And then he's like, "Wait a minute, you're not Ra's." And he's like, "Ra's is a concept. Ra's is not a man." It goes back to the first thing he said to him. It's an ideal, right? It's fear. It's the wraith of justice that strikes fear in the hearts of people who do wrong. And the thing about it is, Ra's al Ghul and Bruce Wayne are two sides of a damaged coin, right? Because Ra's talks about in their montage when he's training him that he lost his wife. And apparently he lost his wife violently, and he lost his wife to evildoers. But where Bruce has this code, Ra's has embraced it, so much so that he's like, you know what? Gotham is corrupt. He treats Gotham as though he would a criminal. Gotham needs to be dealt with. Gotham has had chance after chance after chance after chance, and now Gotham has to go. And that is, if you're not careful, right? Because you hear that and you think, oh, it's crazy. It's not crazy if everything you think about is revenge, right? It's not crazy if you begin to judge people and say, you're wrong and you're wrong and you're wrong and you're wrong. When you're young, you think of life as black and white. When you get older, oh, you see shades of gray, Jordan. You see shades of gray, right? And what the League of Shadows lacks is empathy, right? So anyway, just want to talk about that. Let's talk about the meeting, the first meeting, before Bruce goes off to prison camp to kick ass and train up and learn how to be Batman. Let's talk about the first meeting between Carmine Falcone and Bruce Willis, and how Carmine is just talking shit. Like, the guy who killed your dad said he begged for his life. Begged, right? I wanted to slap the shit out of him. I did not like Carmine Falcone. But let's talk about that interaction, man. Let's talk about it.
I mean, I love that. I love that we got like I love that in these trilogies they bring up like the street villains like Carmine Falcone.
Right. The starter villain. He's
yes.
basically Batman's starter villain, right? Yeah.
Yes. I love that they bring them on like a subplot villain. And all three movies do that. Actually the third one doesn't go into it as much, and probably lacks the depth of that. But the first two, they're there as villains. Batman might not be going up and like punching them in the face for the whole runtime, but he's going to cause troubles for the crime organizations. And I love that. I love that Bruce Wayne went there like
pissed off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, and I love that the amount of power that they give Falcone in this center, because like he's like, oh, there's a police officer right there and I can shoot you right now and I wouldn't get any jail time. Yeah. So and he's like, that's power you can't buy.
Right.
And I love that. That is amazing, and I don't think many superhero movies do that great of a job with their street level crime organizations.
Yeah. So well, it goes back to Nolan being able to make things relatable and digestible and make it, because that's, for lack of a better word, that's real world shit. Like that those conversations, probably there's a conversation right now with somebody saying, hey, you see that cop over there? I could blow your head off. In America somewhere, somebody's having that conversation. So it is relatable, to your point. Yeah. But the rage that he stirs up in Bruce, the vitriol, right? This changes Bruce. This interaction changes Bruce, because he said, look, you think you came here thinking one thing. Let me educate you. I can go get your pretty little friend, the DA, anytime I want. What about your old butler? I can get to anybody I want to. Now, I know you don't care about yourself, but Bruce, you need to think about some things. And Bruce doesn't realize before going to this meeting, because he didn't think about it, he just reacted, that he's vulnerable here. And Bruce doesn't like vulnerability. He doesn't like that. And if you think about it, you understand why. Why? Because the last time we see Bruce being vulnerable is at that damn concert or play or whatever it was that they witnessed with the bats, where he got scared and he leaves and his parents end up getting killed behind it. And as someone whose parents are both gone, believe you me, you blame yourself. And for a child who's not emotionally developed, who's not logically developed, you have to blame yourself. So his whole life, he grew up thinking, when my parents died because I was afraid. Which is why he was afraid initially. It's why when Ra's and Bruce have the conversation, Ra's says to him, well, this wasn't your fault. This was your dad's fault. Now, I don't agree with that, but Ra's is essentially trying to get him to absolve himself of the guilt, it's exactly what a kid would do in that scenario. It's exactly what a kid would do. And while it is dime store therapy and probably inaccurate, it does work to get Bruce to the next level. But this iteration or this interaction with Carmine forces him to go, because he realizes, I'm not equipped to deal with this dude. I still want to deal with him, but I'm not equipped to deal with this dude, and gets himself arrested for stealing his own shit, which is what I thought was really funny. You know what I mean? Nolan does have a sense of humor. Like the fact that you get arrested for stealing your own shit, and that's hilarious. And it's international. Like that damn Bruce is pretty smart. I'm just saying. Give me your thoughts on that, Jordan, on him getting arrested and arranging it and the whole thing.
Are you talking about when Batman first shows up, like, and starts beating up?
No.
Like,
I'm talking about before he shows up, when he gets arrested on the docks for stealing his own stuff, and they send him off to China because some sort of way it was some sort of international crime. You don't remember that?
I don't remember that.
I
clearly just saw it.
No, it's all good. It's all good. He's trying to steal boxes that belong to Wayne Enterprises, and he gets there you go. That's what I'm talking about.
All right. Yeah. I like it because Bruce is trying to figure out a way of like solving problems under Bruce Wayne, and it's at this point in the movie he realizes that he can't do this as Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
Like he has to go under some sort of other identity.
Right.
So yeah, I like that in terms of adding. It gives him a reason to go under and become Batman.
Right.
Yeah, I like that.
Right. So he goes off, becomes this ninja badass, comes back. He was assumed dead. You know, he and Alfred link up on the plane and they're talking, and you know, he's like, well, so-and-so had you declared dead, and so lucky for you, I'm over all your assets. And Alfred, again, not without the dry wit, says, look, if you want to take the car out, you can. Just gas it up and don't damage it, okay? Which I thought was funny. I thought that was classic. I thought the actor that played Alfred was great, and just his chemistry with Bruce jumps off the screen. It was great. So, you know, Bruce gets back. He's back in town. You know, he's on his vengeance. So under the guise of trying to get a job, he goes to Wayne Enterprises, and I forget the guy's name, but he's running the show and secretly had Bruce declared dead because he's trying to take over the company or whatever, and banish Lucius Fox, right, to the dungeon or wherever he is. Applied Sciences, something like that. And so that's where Bruce wants to work, but he goes there really because he wants to take advantage of the technology, because Lucius has some cool shit for Batman to do. Now let me tell you something, Jordan. Let me tell you something, man. I'm quoting my guy from Comics Explained on YouTube. Let me tell you something, Jordan. Jordan, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Jordan. My favorite, absolute favorite, 100% favorite Batmobile is the Tumbler. And it ain't even close. And I will take on anyone who wants to argue that any Batmobile was cooler than the Tumbler. God damn it. My truck that I have outside is named the Tumbler. Enough said. Because of that movie. It is the coolest ever. All right. He's got these cool toys. He's got this cloth that responds to electricity that stiffens. He's got the Kevlar armor. You know, Bruce is making okay. All right. Okay. Let me calm down because I'm getting excited. Now, Jordan, you may not know this, but I'm kind of a nerd. Okay.
We all are. Nerds rule the world.
Yes, they do, goddammit. And not many things make me geek out. Now, we saw a couple of weeks ago when I thought Raheem was in the chat that I geek out. But goddammit, Jordan, I'm getting ready to geek out. Because Batman is the coolest hero because he's got all the cool shit. He's got the cool toys. And it's not even close. Okay? I love you, Avengers. But Tony, you can get the finger. You'll never be Bruce. Okay? And I just need to say that. I just need to express that in this venue because I can't have conversations like this with my wife. So thank you for providing me a safe space because I really am geeking out because I love all of Batman's toys. Okay, this is the coolest part in the movie to me. The tumbler, the fact that the motorcycle from the tumbler when the tumbler was killed, and Jordan, I love it. All right, I'm sorry. Woosah. I just had to let that out. All right, I didn't mean to scare you. I just had to let it out. Okay, because that is my favorite part. That is my favorite part in the entire trilogy. I know it's weird, and yes, I'm a nerd, but the tumbler is the coolest thing ever. Okay, when he's riding in it, the fact that you can change positions, pause, you can move forward and drive it like this, and all the cool toys, and the fact that when you're driving on the highway, Jordan, excuse me, you can become invisible. Hello, what the what the hell just happened here? Okay, you can launch shit. You're jumping on top of rooftops. It is the coolest toy ever. Okay, I know you didn't expect that. I had to get it out. We can get back to it now. All right. So
what I love about this scene, I love the dialogue of this whole scene. Like, all right, you start off with him going in, and he's like checking in at the front desk lady. She's doodling or writing down stuff, and she's like, "Oh, name," and he's like, "Oh, Bruce Wayne." Like the aura, the absolute aura that oozes off of Christian Bale's portrayal as Bruce Wayne during this whole scene. And then they're in the middle of the meeting, and the guy's like trying to check in on the secretary, get her to do something, and he opens the door to see what she's doing, and he's helping her work on her putting and stuff, and they're hitting golf balls and stuff. Of course, Christian Bale's trying to flirt with the secretary, and this dude's like, "I thought you were dead," and he's like, "I'm sorry to disappoint." Like the aura. I don't like. I know that's overused in social media. I don't even use it much, but wow, incredible.
He's got it.
And then you go. We see. Of course, I'm never going to refer to any character that Morgan Freeman plays as their own name. I will refer to them as Morgan Freeman. I don't care if it's Lucius Fox. Morgan. He goes and sees Morgan Freeman, who's one of the greatest actors ever. I love Morgan Freeman. And the first time I saw this movie, and I was like, Morgan Freeman's in this. Like, because I grew up on Bruce Almighty, and I saw this, and I geeked out. I was like, that's Morgan Freeman. He goes and sees Morgan Freeman, and they're testing out all this stuff. And yeah, they go in the Batmobile. That Batmobile, is in my opinion, the best Batmobile. I mean, I remember when this movie came out, like the replicas of that being sold to like celebrities and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure
hold that thought. Don't go anywhere. Do not go anywhere. I have a replica. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. Hang on. Because I can't do this and not show it. Hopefully I can find it. Stay there. I got it. I got it here. Stay there. Because I gotta do this. You brought up replica, and Jordan, you guys don't realize how much I love Batman. So that will be readily apparent after this. But here is, do you see it? It's beautiful. I mean, just look at it. It is a replica. God damn it, Jordan, if I could buy this and drive it every day, I would. Okay, I would. Yes, I'm that much of a nerd. I would absolutely. Look how kick-ass this is. I would absolutely. I got the motorcycle somewhere around here, but I'd have to find it. Anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, do you know, we're going to circle this back to football. Joe Burrow, within the last year, I'm pretty sure it was Joe Burrow, bought a replica of that Batmobile. Now, he can't drive it. Nobody can drive that vehicle because it's not street legal. But, I mean, you can probably ride it around in your backyard and stuff if you're rich and you got this huge yard, you got a bunch of land and stuff, which is really cool. I mean, it's incredible. And then he ends this whole scene off by saying, "Does it come in black?" and they put that
Yeah.
on promotional
Yeah.
material. They put it on posters. They put it on the promotional material, all the trailers, and it's just this part of Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne incredible. Like I said, the aura is just oozing off of him during this whole scene.
This it was great, man.
It was awesome.
Great. It's my favorite scene again. One of my favorite scenes. I absolutely love the Tumblr. You know, again, and you've probably guessed it by now. My favorite scene is in this movie is when he's trying to get Rachel back to the lab because she's been poisoned, and all the cool tricks he pulls out when the cops. Oh my goodness gracious, Lord Jesus! Oh, I loved it. Okay, we gotta go. So yeah, they you know, he gets out, tries the suit, goes to meet Commissioner Gordon, and says, hey, you know, what do I need to get this guy? What do I need to get Falcone? Da 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 da, and runs and jumps out of a building and kind of hurts himself reaching on to another attachment on the building, and decides, you know what, I probably need a way to fly. I probably need to do that because this isn't going to work out. So then he goes back to Lucius for some more cool shit, and Lucius tells him about the cloth that responds to electricity. And so then he gets the cape, right? And now he's got the armor and the cape, and the helmet's still breaking, so he's got to do the makeshift helmet or whatever. And he goes out, and he's doing his recon or whatever, and he hears that Rachel Dawes is in danger. And it's funny because the guys show up to kill her, and she gets out her stun gun or whatever, and the guy in front of her sees Batman taking out his partner, and he turns around and runs. She's like, yeah, that's right, you run. And she turns around and is like, ah, and he's like, in true Batman mode, who are you? I'm like you. I'm on your side. We're together. Here's what we need to do. He hired them to kill you. Da 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 da. And she's like, what the? Yeah, whatever.
Real quick, what do you think about the voice change? Like, in terms of Batman changing his voice, and that could go for any media, but like specifically this movie, because I know a lot of people make fun of Christian Bale's portrayal because he changes his voice. He's got this deep voice, and then he'll have like his normal voice. What do you like it, or do you think like should have a voice changer like Ben Affleck, or do you think he should just run with his normal voice?
I love it. You're trying to invoke fear in your enemy. Mm-hmm. And you can't go in there talking like Bob from accounting, right? Hey, I'm here to kick you guys' ass. And by the way, do you have coffee? You got donuts? No, you got to go in there and kick the door in like a banshee and tell these fuckers, hey, look, I'm Batman. I'm here to kick your ass. Watch out. Let's go. Move. You're trying to invoke fear, right? Mm-hmm. The whole purpose of Batman is to take his fear of bats and god dang it, sell that shit like Christianity in the 1600s. He's trying to just put that out there to all you criminals. Anybody who's gonna commit a crime, you're gonna face this guy, and this is the last voice you're gonna hear, bitches. Like, you just can't do that, right? You have to, now again, if you want to say it's silly, yeah, but they don't know that. Think about it. This guy shows up in a bat, 6'5", badass, all these ways. It's gonna scare the shit out of you. I mean, it wouldn't me if I was a criminal. I mean, think about it. You try to break into somebody's house, all of a sudden you see this dude, 6'5", a bat, appear out of nowhere, start whooping 5 of your homeboys' ass, and now it's just you. You got it, bro. Here you go. I'm good. Just my thoughts, right? I don't know, but you know, they established their friendship or whatever. And so look, let's talk about Crane or the Scarecrow, because we see him in court and he's making his deals, and you know, unbeknownst to everybody, when he wants to get rid of somebody, he just gives them his little poison pill and scares the shit out of them, and problem is solved. What did you think on the actor's portrayal of Scarecrow? And just give me your thoughts.
So Cillian Murphy, he goes and ends up playing Oppenheimer. Now he's famously known for Oppenheimer. And I didn't watch Peaky Blinders. I'm pretty sure that's the name of the show that he's in. That But before that, he was in Batman, and he actually auditioned to play Bruce Wayne in this movie. Um, he didn't obviously get the part, and I'm pretty sure his audition is on YouTube. I've watched I have watched some of it, and it's not great. And I didn't think Cillian Murphy would. Some people are like, oh yeah, Cillian Murphy would have done a good job. I don't think he would have done a good job as Bruce Wayne. I think he would have been a good Batman, not Bruce Wayne. Cillian Murphy, great actor. I love the quiet, raspy, slightly raspy voice that he gives in this role because it kind of fits the Scarecrow. I'm if there's a nitpick of this movie, because I mean we're gonna talk all positive things about all the movies that we watch. We're gonna try to, at least, unless we're watching Captain Marvel. But
Eternals, yeah,
Eternals. But I'm not a huge fan of this portrayal as Scarecrow. I think the idea is great. I like all right. Christopher Nolan's trying to make a comic book movie, and he's trying to make it realistic. Right. And you know what? Making a hallucinogen gas for convicts makes total sense. I completely understand that. Like that, I can get behind. I'm just it's not very comic accurate, and I love Scarecrow's comic origins. And I just think it takes a step back from the character. And you know what? I'm glad the character gets seen throughout the Dark Knight. He gets seen at the beginning of the Dark Knight. He gets seen towards the end of the Dark Knight Rises. And I'm glad he's not like the main villain. I'm glad he was advertised as a villain and not the main villain of this movie. But I think Cillian Murphy does a great job with what he's given. I don't think there's much like dialogue when it comes to him, but except for the you need to lighten up scene where he's when he's gas Batman, that part is like, oh crap. Like that's why I didn't see the movie initially when it was in theaters, because it freaked me out. Like I was like, oh, this guy's freaky. And just like in a way, when I was growing up, we had a VHS tape of Batman '89. And on the back of the VHS tape at the top left, you saw a picture of Jack Nicholson's Joker. And that freaked me out when I was younger. Just seeing his face, I was freaking out. I was like, I can't watch this. I can't watch this.
Right.
But then I watch it, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. So I think he does a great job. I think Christopher Nolan does a great job with this. I think Christopher Nolan does a better job with like trying to make this realistic interpretation. I think Cillian Murphy does a great job with what he's given. But otherwise, I think Scarecrow could be better.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, agreed. Let's talk about the conflict at the building where the cops show up and Batman again deploys another cool toy. And shout out to Nolan, because he did not miss with any of Batman's devices, but he's got this little sonar beacon and he drops it 300 feet whatever down, and all the bats go down in a circular pattern, and Batman descends from the top, his wings deploy, and it is the coolest scene ever. Okay? It is the coolest scene ever. And before I die, I'd love to do that. Like, I'd love to just have a bunch of bats have that technology. And I mean, there's no excuse to ever do that. But this is Terry Wood. It doesn't have to make sense, okay? I would just like, that is the coolest thing ever. I remember that, and the bats come down, and then they come out the building or whatever, scare the shit out of the cops. Batman runs out the back window, and Commissioner Gordon, Detective Gordon at this point is like, hey, you know, come on, man. And he's like, I've got my own, right? And what do we see, Jordan? Oh, we see the tumbler. Remote started, I might add. Push to start. Keyless entry. remote started. Batman, the Batmobile comes and picks him up. Okay. He goes, picks up Rachel, kicks Scarecrow's ass, takes on some other dudes. Rachel is poisoned. And Jordan, I'm going to take the mic. I'm going to take lead on this one because this is my favorite scene. Okay? It's my favorite scene. Bruce has got to take Rachel back to the Batcave because she's been poisoned. And he has the antidote because he had an interaction with Scarecrow earlier, and he's got the antidote, right? And he's like, Rachel, hang on! And she's fading in and out of consciousness, and he's driving, right? And all of a sudden, the cops see him, and they're like, he's over there, let's go get him. And all of a sudden, he takes a left, jumps onto a building, and is driving on buildings. And then all of a sudden, wait a minute, you think it's over, right? Nope, because he's got a rocket in the back. Right here. Okay. Jumps from one building to another, driving all over the building, tearing up shit because it's a tumbler. This is a mini tank. Okay. You can't mess with him. He's on the top of the building. He's like, I got to get some objects out of my way. I know what I'll do. I'll shift and blow the shit out of it. And he shifts, right? So now he's like a fighter pilot, fires missiles, clears the debris out of the way, and jumps, excuse me, from the building onto the highway. Holy shit. And then all of a sudden, magically, because I don't know how cops went from the freaking building to the highways, but work with me here. Whatever, Nolan. Okay, it's for the movie. They're chasing him. And they're like, wait, he's over here. He's over there. He's weaving in and out of traffic. We see the tumbler shift. And all of a sudden, he's like, peekaboo. And he disappears, Jordan. Holy shit, he disappears. I've never seen that. Well, maybe on Wonder Woman, but that doesn't count. She's got an invisible plane. I'm just saying, he disappears. Coolest shit ever. Gets behind everybody. And then just to mess with him says, hey, guys, here I am. Speeds by, veers off, goes through the passage or whatever, through the waterfall, into the Batcave, jumps out of the Batmobile, grabs Rachel, and in the nick of time, gives her the antidote. In scene, coolest shit I've ever seen, man. Coolest. I'm done. Like, I'm emotionally, I'm spent. I know. Coolest shit I've ever seen. I'm just saying. My favorite scene. Yeah. Talk to me about your feelings on that scene. I know you're not going to be as animated, but talk to me about your feelings on that scene.
I love this scene. It really, there's scenes like this that you need in movies to, like, I mean, some people feel like it extends the runtime, but you need these cool scenes to showcase your heroes. You need to showcase them. You don't need the spectacles, just a showcase, right? This is someone performing right before the main star of a concert, right? You need someone that is a scene that just captures people's attention, right? And I love this scene. Sometimes there are a couple lines that I quote from this movie. One's Rachel, where it's like, Rachel, and that's one of them. The other one's, where are the drugs?
Where are they?
And do I look like a cop? Those are my three. Those are my three favorite lines. Anytime I hear someone's name Rachel, or someone like mentions like Rachel from Friends, like I'll just be like, Rachel. Yeah. I always think about that because I love Batman's voice. Like, getting back to that, I like it because, like, nobody, like you said, nobody's gonna be talking like like Bob from accounting.
Right.
And just he still goes with the voice. He still goes with it. But yeah, this scene is so awesome. I love the cop that the tumbler runs over.
Yeah.
He's like talking over the walkie. He's in a giant Tank. Like, I mean,
Oh, man.
how else, if you're a cop in that situation, how else can you describe that what you're seeing? There's so many like funny scenes in this movie that on purpose, like Christopher Nolan doesn't have a lot of humor in many of his movies, but in his comic book movies he really does, and it's so real because it's relatable humor, right? And like there's a scene, I'll get to this scene probably towards the end, but when he brings two dates to the hotel.
Yes,
yes. Like, I you know what, I might as well talk about it now. It's really quick, this scene, right? He goes to the hotel. I don't know what he's doing there, but he brings two girls with him, and they're European, he says, and they go swimming in the pool, which apparently someone comes up to Bruce and is like, the pool is for decoration.
Right.
And this dude, this is the best scene by a Bruce Wayne ever. This dude pulls out a check, right? And he's like, there's no amount of money that will blah blah blah, and his like friends or like other acquaintances are right around him. He's like writing a check. He's like, see, I own this hotel.
Yeah.
And we're gonna set new rules for the pool area.
Right.
And this dude, and then he takes off. He's like, forget about all you. And then he goes swimming in the pool.
And he gets in the pool, right? And that was the most Bruce Wayne shit. That was some Tony Stark shit. Like that
was incredible.
Yeah.
I love that scene, and it has always made me laugh every time I watch it, because I'm like, this dude's a boss. Like, this is the coolest like, if I had a bunch of money, I don't even think I would have the guts to do that. I don't think many people would have the guts to do that. But this dude just does not care. But it also adds depth to his Batman character.
Yes.
Because people see that and they're like, there's no way this guy's Batman.
There you go. And that's why he did it. Yes. Because remember, Alfred says, well, because he was talking about the late nights or whatever, they're going to catch up with you. And Alfred says, well, young rich dudes go out on the town. So he does it to distance the profiles. That's why he did it. But to your point, excellent. Like, that is a boss move. It's funny how there are certain characters that are aligned, right? Where Batman and Captain America align, Bruce Wayne on certain levels and Tony Stark are similar. Even though this really isn't Bruce, this is who Bruce has to be to separate himself from Batman. And you're 100% correct, bro. 100% correct.
And this is by the end of the movie, this is like what Rachel says, and it's something we've echoed with a lot of comic book characters, is that the alter ego is the real person.
Yes.
But their actual person is who's wearing the mask. Like, Bruce Wayne is the mask and Batman is the person. And this is him putting on that mask for everybody to see. And, I don't think I think he wants to show Rachel like who he truly is.
Correct.
And like, when he gets out of that pool area and he's walking with the girls, he notices Rachel, and you see it in his face that he shifts, and he's like, he almost wants to tell her everything.
Right.
And all she sees is this stuck-up billionaire. That's all she sees that she grew up with, and she's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And he's like, "I was just going swimming." Like, he's continue. I love the dialogue in this movie. It's great. But he wants to show Rachel like who he truly is, and I think that's why by the end of the movie he tells her like who he truly is when he's Batman.
No, agreed 100%. Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, man. That's exactly, and really in a way she's kind of his conscience, right?
Yeah.
Because even when she's taking him to court and he's or taking him away from court, he was like, well, I wanted to to kill him. And she slaps the shit out of him and says, your father would be ashamed of you. She's his conscience in a way. Because she knew him, you know, from day one. And so they do have that connection. And so look at let's it's cards on the table time. So, you know, Rachel gets better. Rachel is made aware of the plan. She's got to go do what she needs to do. You know, everybody's aware of the plan. Commissioner Gordon knows what he needs to do, or Detective Gordon, sorry. And all of a sudden, you know, again, Alfred says, well, Bruce, you got 500 guests here for you to celebrate your birthday. You know, you gotta, you know, you have to appear. And again, we see the dichotomy of Batman or the paradox of Batman and Bruce Wayne, because he has to be, right? So Ra's al Ghul is a boss. Make no mistake about it. Okay, Ra's al Ghul is no one to be trifled with. Okay, he is no one you want to owe. He is no one you want to be on the wrong side of. And he shows up, and Bruce says, "You're not Ra's." And Ra's says, "Ra's is an ideal. Ra's is something bigger than all of us. Ra's is a mantle pad. Blah 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 blah." He says, "Now you did me a favor and saved me, and because of that, I'm going to allow you to let your guests to leave. But because you burned my house and left me for dead, I'm going to do the same to you. Go ahead and make your pleasantries, boy, because it's about to go down." And so Bruce has to think quick and become asshole Bruce. And so he goes into this monologue and says, all of you sucker honors and sycophants, all you people that just kiss my butt for money, just leave. All of you leeches, leave. And they will never know that he just saved their lives. And I think one person makes the comment, oh, the apple sure did fall far from the tree, because they're thinking he's nothing like his father, not knowing he's doing this to save their lives. And then the battle ensues, and they literally burn his house down, and he is lucky to get out with his life. And as such, he's got to rally the troops, and they got to go fight, and they, deduct their plan. They've got to prevent the train from getting to Gotham City so that the whatever weapon that they have will not disperse this Scarecrow's concoction or whatever into the air and just turn everybody into raging lunatics. And the conflict ensues on the train, and they fight. And you have not only two ninjas and two warriors fighting each other, but you have two philosophies going after it. And Bruce essentially wins. And as the train is severed and Ra's al Ghul is getting ready to fall to his death, Bruce says to him, I can't kill you, but I don't have to save you. And deploys his wings, flies away. Ra's crashes to his death. The plot is thwarted. And that's pretty much it. Jordan, talk to me about your thoughts about this scene and what takes place, and what's to become.
Well, with the final act, like that machine that was turning the water supply, the like toxin water supply, into a gas. Because all right, the way it works, I'm going to nerd out here and bring some biology and chemistry for everybody.
Do you think?
So earlier in the movie, they were dumping water or a liquid version of the gas that Scarecrow is using to make people go crazy. They were dumping it within the water supply for weeks, they said. So it's throughout all of Gotham. So so you could drink this, you could boil hot dogs with it, you could do whatever you want with it, and it won't do anything to you. But in order for it to react, for you to actually react to it, it needs to turn into a gas.
Yes.
So
right.
So that's where this is my main issue with the movie. Is that whole machine part? That's where I notice when people talk about this movie, they'll skip right over that part because it's just such a boring, like, oh, all right, there's a machine that just so happened to be lost at sea, and it's worth a lot of money and can turn all of the water supply that got the toxin in it into gas to
Plot
affect
device.
everybody.
It's a plot
Yes,
device. Yeah.
I'm that might be the weakest part of the whole trilogy in my opinion.
Hmm.
Um because it's just boring. It's not terrible. Like all movies are like there's plot devices in every movie.
Right.
This
Right.
one's just very boring.
Right.
That's really it.
Right.
Now for the final fight, I love it. I like how it's used. I like that it actually goes off, and we see how it affects people, especially like I mean, you see civilians and you see cops affected.
Hmm.
You see Scarecrow like at his peak go on a horse, and he gets tased by Rachel, which goes back to the Scarecrow iteration. Is it's funny. It's a good iteration of Scarecrow, but he gets tased by Rachel, and I think that's great. Or by the kid. I didn't remember if it was the kid or Rachel. But yeah, they have the fight, and I love that Ra's al Ghul says panic, uh, that because that's basically what everybody was going to do. Everybody was going to panic.
Right.
Um, and I you feel this like urge to that like we need to stop this train because if this train hits Wayne Tower, then all of Gotham will be hit with this, and who knows when this will get fixed.
Hmm.
So you feel this rush and energy that like it's a time crunch that we need to figure this out,
Hmm.
and Batman, he still has a no kill rule, and like you said, he's like I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you.
Right.
And that's something that I think that line I think about in a lot of movies that like of people who have no kill rules, like Daredevil. Captain America doesn't really kill people
Right.
necessarily.
Right.
A lot of characters have no kill rules, and I'm like, well, you don't have to save them either.
Right.
So like there's been instances and I relate Daredevil a lot because they both street level to a
Hmm.
point. They can be
Yeah.
street level heroes and both have no kill rules. It's ironic. Some people are like, oh, the Daredevil is blind like a bat, even though bats aren't blind.
They hear
And
summer.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes. So there's a lot of connections between the two of them,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh well, Daredevil could have done what Batman did. He doesn't have to save some people. So yeah, I think about that a lot. And you see right before Ra's al Ghul is about to die, you see him like close his eyes. Like you, by the end of this trilogy, you realize when he closes his eyes that oh he's not done, and
Right.
he may die,
Right.
but the League of Shadows will continue to linger for the next two movies.
Right.
So yeah, I love that scene.
You know who Race reminds me of? Did you ever watch the series 24?
I have not. No, I
Oh
remember.
my
I did
God.
not.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, you let me tell you something. The first 5 seasons of that show were just can't miss TV. I mean, let me tell you something. 24. I remember where I was when I found out who the villain was. Season 5. I worked a job where I got off at 2 in the morning. I'm up watching it at 3 o'clock in the morning. And when you find out who the villain is for season 5, I'm like, holy shit. Like that was a moment. But anyway, he reminds me of this villain from season. It may have been season 4. It could have been season 4. No, it was season 4. but his name was Marwan. And Jack Bauer is the kind of guy you can have Jack Bauer with his hands tied up, his feet tied up, his neck tied up, and he's got you right where he wants you because he's going to get out. Okay. As a matter of fact, there's a joke that says there's this street named after Jack Bauer, and people get getting killed because nobody crosses Jack Bauer and lives. See what I mean? But anyway, to them dumb. So just Marwan, everything Jack did, Marwan had a response for it. And even when Marwan dies, a plan is activated, and Jack still has to go through several machinations and levels to thwart his plan. And that kind of reminds me of Ra's al Ghul. And it is so League of Shadows. Because the League of Shadows is an organization, but no one man is greater than the League. So that is exactly what would happen if you killed this. It's almost like Hydra. Kill one and two heads sprout up. Not exactly, but kind of in that philosophy, right? Mm-hmm. What's interesting to me is two things. The conversation that Alfred has with Bruce when he says, we'll rebuild, we'll make it better. And, because Bruce is depressed. Shit, his home just burnt down. And that's a big ass house. Like that's gonna take a year to rebuild. Okay, you ain't gonna rebuild that in a couple of months. That's a big ass house. Okay, and he's talking to Bruce about it, and then the conversation between Bruce and Detective Gordon, and he says, my concern is escalation. He says, what do you mean? He says, well, you don the cape and mask, and there's this other guy that's running around with makeup and killing people, and he gives him the Joker card, which is right then and there telling you that the next character is going to be the Joker. And as far as I'm concerned, the best superhero ever, Batman the Dark Knight, should have won an Oscar. We're going to do it next week, and I personally can't wait. Like, I'm losing sleep right now just thinking about the fact that, we're going to do the Dark Knight, and we might need 2 hours. Like, we might. This is going to end about an hour and a half. We might need 2 hours. Those of you watching this right now, we might need 2 hours to talk about the greatest single superhero movie ever in Batman the Dark Knight. Obviously, I love the film. I'm getting excited just talking about it. I'm going to shut up because I've geeked out enough. I don't think you guys can handle it. We'll just postpone next week geek out until next week's. But Jordan, talk to me about where we're going with Batman the Dark Knight, and just give me your thoughts on it, man, as we close.
So for Batman Begins, I feel like I've been giving 8 out of 10s every single week for the past couple of weeks, because the last 2 movie reviews we did, I've given 8 out of 10s. I'm giving Batman Begins an 8 out of 10 too. And I've given all 3 of them 8 out of 10s, because for me, this could have been better when it came to certain plot devices. That's really it. I think this is a good movie. Like I said, when it comes to origin movies, I'm putting Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man up there for the best Marvel, and Batman Begins for the best DC. And yes, I will put it over the original Superman movie, because I think there's more backstory that is involved in this that makes you connect with the character more versus the original Superman movie. And so I give this movie an 8 out of 10. That will change. That will 100% change next week. I will say this. I don't have many movies that are 10 out of 10s, right? For me to give a 10 out of 10, it's like it has to be one of my favorite movies of all time, and it has to be rewatchable. Like I have to love this movie. How many 10 out of 10 movies I have? Because I don't have very many. I have 17 movies that are 10 out of 10s, right? Only 17. I put a special group of movies in that 10 out of 10. And next week, we are watching one of my 10 out of 10 movies. I can't wait for The Dark Knight. I love everything about this movie, and I can't wait to talk about this. Let me know what would you give Batman Begins?
I'd give it a 9 out of so again, I'm not as complicated as you when it comes to rating a movie, but I rate a movie on how I feel when I leave, right? So, I'm 54. Batman came out in 2005. I'm 35 years old. I swear to God, Jordan, I wanted to catch the Joker leaving the movie. Like, I was on my way to my car. Like, I can't wait to catch him. Oh, I'm Batman. God damn it. I'm like, I felt, I don't know what, bro. I felt like empowered. I felt like just charged. I was amped up. I was so excited to go home and tell my wife about this movie, who doesn't care, but she's my wife. It's her job to anyway. Too bad, Kim. It's only a few movies I can think of that I felt that way leaving, right? Now, it's not a 10 out of 10. Next week is a 10 out of 10. I agree. But for me, Batman Begins was pretty close because number one, when I saw the Joker card, I was so excited for the next one. I ran home to check the interwebs to see everything I could learn about it. Right. I was excited. But, for me, it's a 9 out of 10. Obviously, The Dark Knight, again, I don't give many 10 out of 10s. I'm probably not as exclusive as you. But I would say my list of, and again, I'm 50. I've probably seen over 700 movies. I can't, maybe 40 would be a 10 out of 10, right? But this is one of them. Maybe 30. I don't know. But this is, I'm sorry. The Dark Knight is definitely a 10 out of 10 to say that. Raymond says The Green Mile is a 10. I would agree. I love The Green Mile. Also Shawshank Redemption. Have you seen Shawshank Redemption, Jordan?
Here's the thing. I know the whole plot of that movie.
Like, so you read the book?
I did not read the book.
You did?
No. My mom has wanted me to watch this movie, The Shawshank Redemption, for so long. But I have seen so much about this movie, so many scenes growing up, like with social media.
Yeah.
I've seen other shows, adaptations of it, like making fun of it. I've seen Family Guy's version of it. Yeah. Like, I've seen so much about that movie that I can tell you what happens throughout the movie. Yeah. And I've never, it's one of very few movies that I've done that. So that's why I've kind of like I could have watched that at any time and I know exactly what's going to happen. Yeah. So right. I need to be like in the mood to watch that movie.
Yeah.
So, I haven't seen it, but I know exactly what happens.
No, I get that. Shawshank Redemption is a testament to persistence. One of the greatest, just a great story, just a great story, a great ending. Again, one of those movies with the one-liners: "Get busy living" or "Get busy dying." Great movie, but yeah, I'd give Shawshank Redemption 10 out of 10. So. Jordan, I'm excited about next week, man. I can't wait. Bro, it's always fun to do this. It's like you were sent to me, bro. It's like you're probably the only other person in the world that would get this excited about a movie that's goddamn 20 years old. Like, I freaking love it, man. Tell these folks where they can find you, bro.
You can find me at Ultegacy, ULTEGACY. We do all things sports related. I stream with Terry every Friday, some Thursdays, occasionally, some other days. We do everything. Yeah, we do everything in sports.
Yeah.
I don't really talk about comic books and stuff. I unless I'm like. If someone wants to talk to me about movies, I'll talk to you about movies 24/7, 365. But I love doing this because it's always been a passion of mine. I always love movies. I've taken movie classes in college when it comes to music in film. So I know a lot about music and film. I love I learn about like directing and stuff like that. I tell people if I didn't get into business, I would have probably gone into directing, because I love storytelling, and that's what movies are. That's what comics are, and that's why I love doing this. It's so fun, and I love doing this with you.
And I love doing it with you too, sir. It's fun. Let me ask you this, and again, I did say that I was a nerd several times, so do not judge me. I love soundtracks. Especially from superhero movies. Okay, I will admit it. I'm a freaking weirdo when I'm on my treadmill. I'm listening to Molasses from Batman Begins. God damn it! I said it. I meant it. I'm here to represent it. I love soundtracks. Now, to be honest, as I've gotten older, not so much. You know what I mean? But Batman Begins, Crimson Tide, Armageddon. There's a Captain America, the Winter Soldier, the Captain America. I'm gonna put this out there, and I listen to it every day, Jordan. Every day I wake up and get on my treadmill. God damn it, I'm Captain America. Like I freaking love, but only the scores, right? Like I don't want to hear the recent song from. I want to hear the score. Like and I'm the only one that I know like that. I know I'm a weirdo, but because my wife listened to something I had when she was like, "What the hell are you listening to?" And she loves me, but even she was like, "You're a weirdo." So, yeah, I love
it too. I do it too. There's my favorite, and every Halloween I'm in my car, I'm jumping up and down like I'm listening to like Biggie or Eminem or Tupac or Nas or anything, and every time I listen to the score for the original Halloween, I get so crazy. Halloween, all October, I'm watching horror movies. Halloween is one of those 10 out of 10 movies for me. The original Halloween.
Yeah.
I love that so much. Two other ones that I really like. The Lion King, the original Lion King. The whole soundtrack, the score, everything about it. Another 10 out of 10 movie, and my only animated 10 out of 10 movie.
Okay.
And third one, which has grown on me for the last 13 years that it's been out, Tron Legacy. I love Tron Legacy is a really good. It's a good movie. It's a niche movie. Not many people watched it when it came out.
I watched it. I saw the original. I watched it.
But the score of that movie, I remember I was going to I had a buddy from college picking me up, and we were going out with a bunch of friends, and he was playing music on his car, and the next song he started playing Tron Legacy, the soundtrack, and I was like, bro, this movie is awesome. I love this score. I love everything about Tron Legacy's score. Incredible. It's just incredible. I love scores in movies. I forget. I've done in this music and film class. We did stuff for Casablanca. I had to watch the movie Casablanca, Robin Hood, the original movies. We did Halloween.
Sweetheart.
We've done Jurassic Park, another 10 out of 10 movie for me. And it gives you such an appreciation for film, because people like Hans Zimmer did Batman Begins, and we're going to circle back to the beginning of this. Hans Zimmer, one of the greatest composers of all time.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
We are not. And him and Christopher Nolan are going to be just like John Williams and Steven Spielberg. Yeah. John Williams and Hans Zimmer.
The original Superman. Yeah. I love that. So my favorite song on Tron Legacy is The Game Has Changed. I don't know what track it is, but it's The Game Has Changed. And the other reason I love Tron Legacy is I love me some Daft Punk. I love me some Daft Punk. Oh my God. Holy shit, I love Daft Punk. So, you know, they for those of you who don't know, that they have this song called Around the World, and it's over and over again. And I don't know, that maybe they're not for everybody, but I love me some Daft Punk. So just those two together just made it. I also love Tron. I saw the original when it came out in 1982. The game actually came from the movie, or maybe I don't know, but either way, I played that game so much that when that movie came out, bro, I was all in. As a matter of fact, Jordan, I believe there's a third iteration of Tron coming out this year.
There is.
Not?
There is. Tron Ares, yeah.
Yeah. And I gotta go because this is where it bleeds into reality, right? You have the two worlds converge, correct? I think
yes.
something like that. Yeah. So I gotta.
I see. I can't wait for this movie. The thing is, Jared Leto's in it, and I have only watched one movie ever where I was not disappointed and Jared Leto was in it. But every other movie that I have watched with Jared Leto in it has extremely disappointed me. And so I'm very nervous with this movie specifically. But otherwise, I can't wait. Another Tron movie. I used to have, when Tron Legacy came out, I had like the action figures, the bike. I had the Nintendo Wii game. I played that Nintendo Wii game until it was all scratched up and I couldn't play it no more. I love that era of like action figures and toy sets and video games for Tron Legacy. Incredible. So yeah, I can't wait for this movie. I'm very nervous because Jared Leto's in it. Very nervous.
I think we got to do the Tron trilogy. I think we got to do it. Sometime this year. I don't know, but I think we got to do it. Right.
Leading up to Tron Ares, we can do that.
Yeah. Well, when's it come out?
I'm not sure. Let me check. Tron Ares. It comes out October 10th.
Okay, so we got time.
Yes. Yeah, we got time.
We got time.
Oh, yeah.
All right, that's cool. Well, hey, man, as always, enjoyed it. Raymond saying he lost a lot of quarters on the joystick. I sure did. Me too, Raymond. He also, the motorcycle. And they were my favorite, too. The motorcycles, just the streams behind them. And then the fact that it's almost like chess because you got to see where you're going to go and how you can box somebody in. Oh, I love that, man. I spent hours, days, weeks, months playing that. I wore out my joystick, too. On that one. This was 1982, so probably one of the video games you played with, but I went through some joysticks, bro. But yeah, man. Hey, enjoyed it, Jordan. We got to come back next week. To those of you in the chat, everyone who joined, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You could have been anywhere in the world. I thank you for spending this hour and 37 minutes with me and my friend Jordan here. And we're so thankful you did it. We got a love of this, and we're just glad for you to join us and experience it with us. And Raymond says same age. I appreciate. Hey, at 1970, Raymond, a great year. At least I think so. But so yeah, man, we got to come back next week. Do Batman Begins. Jordan, first of all, thank you, brother. I just want to thank you for everything that you do for me and everything that you've done. And this is just. I'm glad to be on this journey with you. I can't thank you enough. Everyone in the crowd, thank you. I want to thank God because I wouldn't be here without him. And last but not least, I got to thank Mr. Jack Spade and my brother Eric Parker for giving me my start in this business. And hey, man, you guys have an amazing week. And we will see you next week. Good night, everybody.